After the enormous success of the Cannonball Run, Burt changed gears for the romantic comedy Paternity.
Okay, that's 60 for the students, 23 for the cab, including the tip, and then $25,000 to have your child.
Burt plays Buddy Evans, a 44-year-old playboy who wants to have a son, but without the commitment of marriage. I mean, basically, he was playing himself.
Don't you read the papers? I'm the most eligible bachelor in town.
This classic poster generated a lot of fan mail for Burt.
The response to the film from women has been wonderful. I've had some interesting letters, yes, and I'm trying to get to them as fast as I can.
What are you going to tell him about his mother?
Who?
Your son.
I'll tell him she died.
The romantic comedy, released in 1981, was clearly a different film than the one Burt talked about making.
I came to see you.
Me?
I'm going to do a small film, which I hopefully will be like Starting Over. A very serious, sweet little film.
It's good that you got that out of your system.
David Steinberg is going to direct. I want to give him a shot at directing.
I'm your friend. I love you. I'll do anything for you. I'll be your slave. I'll get you girls. I'm sorry, Jesse. It's just...
Even though he hadn't directed a movie before, I knew he could do it. I made the right choice. David did a hell of a job on Paternity.
Quinby.
Quinby?
It's a Scandinavian name. It's from Scandinavia.
Sally Field was to play his love interest, Maggie, as they had gotten back together during this time period. She was a close friend to director David Steinberg, who was with her at the Oscar ceremony, celebrating her win for Norma Ray. Ultimately, it seemed like a better idea to bring in another actress, as Sally had already worked with Burt in 4 of his previous 8 films.
Goodbye.
So Beverly D'Angelo was finally cast in the role instead.
Do you feel, as a woman, that you could carry the child of a man who wasn't your husband?
Why not? Having a baby's just a biological function. I had heard about the project about a month before I finally went in, and I had every belief in the world that I'd never get it. And I just went in just to meet Burt Reynolds and David Steinberg. But then after I had that meeting with them, then I really wanted it, and I just said, well, I'll just do whatever I can do to try to get that part.
Come on, buddy. Who's the father?
I was raped.
Raped?
But until then, I kind of thought that I wouldn't get it anyway, and that probably everybody in the world had tried to get it, and then if they couldn't, how could I?
D'Angelo is best known for playing Chevy Chase's long-suffering wife in the National Lampoon Vacation movies.
What's your name?
Echo. What? Echo.
Back in 1980, she was also in Every Which Way But Loose with Burt's longtime friend, Clint Eastwood.
You can't love anything.
I love you.
Well, he's just a great guy. As soon as you get around him, you're aware of his wonderful sense of humor. And he's so charming that you just can't help but be kind of giggly and totally at ease. He just has the ability to do that.
Burt had a lot of creative control on Paternity and, as always, surrounded himself with many of his old friends. Norman Fell, who was Burt's doctor in the end, once again plays that role.
Said I look fit as a fiddle. Fit as a fiddle? I never said fit as a fiddle in my life. Did you ever hear me say fit as a fiddle?
Maybe he didn't say that. He said I look fine.
All right, so what's he worried about?
His Gator co-star, Lauren Hutton.
May I see your breast?
What?
When you look at my genitals, you're not looking at my genitals. Think of them as a potato peeler.
You might recognize this cute little feller, Peter Billingsley, who may have gotten the role of his life based on this performance.
I had a teacher, Mr. Collins. He was 43. He died of a heart attack. Went just like that. Bingo.
Peter is best known as Ralphie Parker in the 1983 classic, A Christmas Story.
Fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge.
The hilarious Elizabeth Ashley.
Honey, do you have a cat?
Whale. Big one.
And the always entertaining Alfie Wise has a small part.
Thank you for not slamming the door. Have a nice day.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
As with many films from this time period, the overall theme would probably not get approved in today's overly sensitive climate.
Do you think $25,000 is a lot of money?
Yes, $25,000 is an enormous amount of money. $50,000 is an enormous amount of money.
The concept of a surrogate mother was pretty controversial for 1980.
It's now, it's contemporary. Can't you see that?
I can see legal problems. That's what I can see.
In fact, I just calculated that the $50,000 that Maggie got to carry his child would be closer to $163,000 today. It's not bad.
Any history of homosexuality, sadomasochism, necrophilia?
The child needs to be brought into the world by a loving mother and a father.
Scrap, pal. You get the best deal here, full custody. You don't have to deal with some crazy broad ruining your life, and you have fun trying, if you know what I mean.
A woman's body is not for rent. That is awful. Don't do it, buddy.
Ignore her, Bert. She's just another batshit crazy chick who'll break you down and eat your soul.
Oh, my.
Hello, my little baby. You see, this one is healthy.
The lighthearted nature of Paternity warmed over audiences, but the critics hated the movie, with Burt taking most of the criticism. He got a handful of decent reviews, but for the most part, he was criticized for just playing his Tonight Show persona.
What are those?
What are what?
Those things on your teeth.
They're bracelets.
I know they're bracelets. But do you have to wear them?
No. They're the latest in costume jewelry. Of course I have to wear them.
Well, it's just that I don't want my son to look like Jaws 2.
I have a habit of making what I do look very easy.
I didn't get a lot of credit for a lot of acting because you couldn't catch me. I always think that actors that you catch acting should get another job.
This stuff is fascinating. Did you know that the wearing of loose underwear increases the chances of conception?
So does the wearing of no underwear.
Burt's hands and feet were immortalized in cement outside the Man Chinese Theater right before Paternity's Charity World premiere benefit in September of 1981. Following the premiere, Burt and Sally celebrated through the evening with Richard Pryor, Willie Nelson, and Robin Williams at the Comedy Store. Well, that must have been an incredible night.
Do your body take?
Maggie.
Do your body take?
Oh, yeah, everything. What else is not man and wife?
Yes, of course. Hallelujah.
Even though the critics panned Paternity, it opened with no real competition and debuted at #1, where it stayed for 3 weeks. The film doubled its budget at the domestic box office,
God, that's disgusting.
but was considered a flop for a Burt Reynolds release. Watch for new movie reviews and documentary series. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell so you know when new reviews arrive.